There's a handful of grainy still photographs from like the Civil War and whatnot. But the first war that we had where video actually appeared was World War I. There's not much of it. It's kind of grainy. It looks like they're playing it and fast forward. And I don't even think they had sound in most cases. It was just the era. World War II is when the video camera came into its own, when you had combat photographers everywhere. Front lines, on ships, in the air, you had gun camera footage. I mean, it was just everywhere. I don't really understand how this works, but the technology of the day to shoot color video, which was available, required 3 rolls of film to run at one time. So it wasn't really practical to operate that in the field. That's why there was so little color footage from the war, but it is out there. It turns out in the 1990s, a World War II combat photographer died and left a storage unit to somebody. And in the note, it said, "Do something with this." That was his only comment. Whoever it was, he willed it to open the locker, and there was more color combat footage in this foot locker, in this storage unit, than there was known in the world combined. And if you're a World War II buff, such as myself, you will notice that starting in the 1990s, all of a sudden this new footage started popping up that wasn't colorized. It was actually original color film, and that's the reason behind that. And this came to mind because I was flipping through a World War II magazine here a while back, and there was a couple, World War II vet, stationed at Pearl Harbor during the early parts of the war, moved on from there. They were married. They died off at some point, and the family had their property, and they had purchased a tiny portable color video camera, which in the late 1930s, which was freakishly rare at the time. I mean, it was like $1,500, $1,800 today, the kind of money. And people in the military don't make a lot of money, but he had it, and they passed on, and their family had the camera, and it was such a rare camera, they kept it for decades. And then there was a museum somewhere out in California, and this just happened, by the way. And because the camera was so insanely unusual, they donated to a museum to have as a showpiece, and they just turned all the film in with it. And they had a kid working there, and they said, you know, we got these little tiny reels of film. You can just go through it and see what's there. And the guy watched all the films, and it was just home videos from the 1930s to the 1960s is when they petered out. And it was just a box of film. So he sat in this room for days watching all this. He said, see if there's anything interesting, you know, JFK assassination, who knows what's in there. They got all the way to the last film, and it was labeled Attack. So he put it in and watched it, and the guy walked out of the back room, and he goes, well, here's a box of film. I watched all of it. This is just mundane stuff, and this is color video of the Pearl Harbor attack. Just wanted you to know. There's none of that. She was in the housing across the street and was filming up and seeing explosions and fires, Japanese planes flying over the buildings, and then post-battle damage and stuff. And it was like, duh! You know, stuff's just out there hiding. And they had it, which is awesome. And something else about World War II video photographers, and if you watch any film, any documentary, and you see black and white film of combat, you will see this. Every time there's an explosion, the camera moves because of the shock wave. They're holding the camera and they're smacking it. Every time an explosion, anywhere, that was a tactic they used back then, so watch for that. And that's just something that popped into my head randomly driving down the road. Have a great day.